I was just making a movie as an actor, just sitting there in my chair, having a donut. And they came up to me, this producer, director guy, and he said, I have a book by Cormac McCarthy. I think you should direct it. I was going to, but I think you should do it because you know those people. And then he went on and on about Sling Blade and One False Move and blah, 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 and what I was doing in his particular motion picture at the time. He said, I think you're the guy to do this. And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, you know, that's a big thing. You know, I mean, I'm making little movies, you know, in 2 rooms and a yard. You know, I don't know about this. And he said, no, I really think you should. They talked me into doing All the Pretty Horses. I mean, I loved it, but I thought, no, you should get one of these big director guys to do that. I mean, it's like a $50 million movie, and I'm going to have to think and all kinds of stuff. And so I ended up doing it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And then once I said I'll do it, I really got into it because I, of course, loved the book and loved Cormac McCarthy as a genius writer. And you know, Texas.
And in a lot of ways, it's so much about dysfunctional family stuff, which is the kind of stuff you do.
Oh, absolutely. Everything about it was what I loved. And if you squeeze the story down into if you take out all the spectacle of it, it's just,
that's what you want to do with, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, I mean, the desert's lit. I mean, all you gotta do is turn a chimpanzee, you flip the camera, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, anybody can do that. I mean, but to get these characters, you know, straight, you know, and that's what I did do. And so that's the way I talked myself into it. I said, at the end of the day, it is like Sling Blade. It's just a little story, you know, of these people right here. It's not some huge spectacle, so don't look at it that way. Talk myself into it, and the second I loved it, the second I loved the idea of doing it, then they said, only here's the thing. We're really going to direct it, you know, from our penthouse. And here's who you're going to cast. And there's a girl who is a regular white girl from Long Island that they wanted me to cast in Penelope Cruz's part. And I said, guys, I got 3 words for you. She ain't Mexican. They said, we want Jean Moreau for the old Mexican aunt.
You're making this up.
I'm not making this up. And then I said, once again, 3 words for you. She ain't Mexican. Because how many parts do Hispanic actresses get, leads, come along? And I said, I'm not casting anybody in Hispanic role who's not Hispanic, period. And they said, well, we'd rather you do that. And I said, okay, you guys direct it then, I'll see you later. And they proceeded to tell me who I was going to cast in pretty much everything. I didn't do any of it, ended up casting everybody I wanted, ended up cutting the movie the way I wanted to, and then I made a huge mistake. Well, one thing is, once I cast the people I wanted to and didn't listen to them, I was dropped like a hot rock. I never got any help anymore from the producers, so that was how it happened. And that's just the truth. And if they want to sue me and kiss my ass, because that's exactly what happened. Then, once the movie's all done, I made this horrible, horrible mistake. Because, you know, I was raised in like Hot Springs, Arkansas, you know what I mean? And in Tomball, Texas. I don't know that people are awful. I mean, there are plenty of awful people where I grew up, believe me. But I mean, you always assume that people are going to be cool about stuff.
I mean, in a place like that, you know people are awful because you get it right away. They don't hide it from you.
Exactly. And so I just figured everything would be fine. And I invited both motion picture studios that were involved to my house. And I had a big screen TV there and all this. And I showed them my assembly. And if you're a filmmaker, anybody in the audience is a filmmaker, never do that. Never show them your assembly, because I said to them, Now, this is everything we shot. It's not my cut. This is every foot of film we shot. I want to show you guys, because I'm so proud of this thing, that I just want you to see it. And I'd already put some of Dan's music in it at that point, because I used Dan originally on All the Pretty Horses, Dan Lanois, who had done the score for Sling Blade.
But you promised you'll give me a copy of this.
I'm going to get you that.
Okay.
So then I said to him, and there's like 30 studio cats in my house, big ones. And I said, now, before we do this, just know, because you guys have been to screenings before, and the director always gets up in front and he says, now, the sound's not done, and there's no color correction, and blah, blah, blah. And inevitably, after it's over, people say, well, I couldn't hear some of the scenes. The color looked green and shit, whatever. It's like, we just told you that. But when you tell them that, they always say, oh, please, we go to screenings all the time. But they don't. It affects them. So they watch this.
Because they're not filmmakers.
Yeah.
They're executives.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I mean, it could be Coca-Cola, it could be Baby Ruth, whatever, but they ain't filmmakers. I mean, they make hula hoops and stuff. And so, anyway, so then I go up in front of them, and I swear on my life, I said, now listen, this is the assembly. It's 3 hours and 50 minutes long. It's everything we shot. This is not my cut. I'm going to cut it. And remember when you guys told me that this is going to be a 3-hour movie? Remember that? And they go, oh, of course, it's an epic. It's got to be 3 hours. I go, excellent. Remember you said that. So I showed them this 3-hour and 50-minute assembly. And then I said, now I'm going to make my cut. As soon as the movie was over, there were 2 or 3 studio executives and one really big studio executive and some and who were in tears. One of them called me out in my front yard and said, this is maybe the best movie that I've ever been involved with in 25 years or whatever, right?
Sure.
Well, then I feel great. And then one of the studio executives said, it's really long. I said, yeah, I know. I just remember when I told you that, it didn't matter. From that moment on, it was a struggle, and then I did my cut, which was 2 hours and 42 minutes, 18 minutes shorter than what they said I could have. And then they set about cutting it to under 2 hours because they always wanted it under 2 hours. So the movie that came out in the theaters was 1 hour 59 minutes, and it's amazing what you can lose in about 20 or 30 minutes of real character stuff that means something. And with them, all they want is, okay, so now you killed the girl, now you put her in a bag, and now you get to the car, and there's the police, you don't see all the stuff in between, And that's what happened. And it became this huge thing, and then Harvey and I had this big argument, and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, and that's what happens to you all the time. And it just, sometimes it happens to you over stuff that you care about.